Apple stock. Is it about to make a major move? Let's break it down from top to bottom and I'll show you what the charts are really saying. I'm Jamila Brown and every week I analyze a fresh stock to help you see what's next. I use TradingView for all my analysis. It's hands down my favorite tool. And if you want to chart along with me, check out the link in the description. All right, so let's take a look at Apple from the top. And what I mean by the top is monthly chart first. I need to see the big major moves. I need to see the big money at the end of the day, right? And that means big money moves slow. And this monthly chart often gives us the first clues. So is Apple showing strength or are the cracks starting to form on Apple? And what I see, just looking at the candles, I use blue filled in colored candles for my bearish candles, and I use a hollow candle for my bullish candles. So as you can see, the last 4 candles on the monthly chart, so call it December, January, February, and March, has been a mixed bag. Bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish. And with that being said, with those 4 different candles, what does that really tell us? It's been back and forth. However, who's winning the race? I'd say clearly the bears are winning the race. Now we have a overall picture of what is happening with Apple just this year alone, including December. Real quick check to say, okay, we've got earnings coming up on April 24th, 2025. So that's something to keep in mind. This next candle going into earnings will be important. So now we have a big picture look at these 4 candles to kind of see what's been happening immediately, like in the last few months, short term. Next, I want to take a look at major support and resistance because that's really where they're at. And what I mean by they, I'm talking about the big money. So I'm going to add support and resistance here. Let me go ahead and change it to my favorite support and resistance colors. That definitely wasn't it. So 196 is the next major level of support and resistance, give or take a few dollars. This is just eyeball, right? And that's what's happening right now. And that's what we're going to break down. And now we're going to move one more level and just see what's been happening on the weekly chart. And you can see how this support and resistance comes into play 3 times. And now we're here. I'd probably say there's some support and resistance on the daily up in this area right here. So let's just go ahead and switch to the daily because we're trying to get an idea of what's going to happen over the next few months. So I'm going to drop a horizontal ray here, 237. You got a couple resistance points. And then I'm going to go ahead and drop one right here. You've got a resistance point that put in June 2024, almost clean support, definitely clean support in November 24, and definitely clean support in January 2025. All right. So those are the 2 levels, kind of, I would call them daily support and resistance. This is your monthly support and resistance. So now we've kind of got price boxed in. And what I mean by that is price is currently at 215 today, live market. We've got a support and resistance level above and below current price. So it's boxed in, and we even have a level just above that. Now, we talked about the bears winning the race right now. And what we mean by that is we've got an impulsive move down, had the pullback, which we kind of saw in those monthly candles, and then we had a new impulsive move lower. That created a short-term trend, a short-term bearish trend. And it looks like we might be experiencing that through April 2025. So with that most recent 1, 2, 3 move, now we would expect the same thing to happen again, a slight pullback, and then possibly headed into this major support. Now, we're putting in a visual mental rep right now to say that this is possibly what could happen on this stock now that we've created this bearish trend. We also want to check, well, what percentage might that be off for this stock from the all-time high? We roughly got a 20% correction, which is kind of like bear market territory for a stock already. And it would be just crazy to me for it not to try to test this high. But with a mega cap company like this, it doesn't always go back to the previous support and resistance. And you can go back and look at previous times in history and see that it doesn't always happen. And we got the retest here in August. So there may be a chance that it may not fill it in, or it could. You want to be prepared for both. But there have been other times in history when it didn't quite get back, right? And here's an example, 81.67. And of course, this is split adjusted. You can see that this level was never tested, never. I'm on a monthly chart. Could have happened on the daily, but on a monthly chart, this level never got retested. And this was the pre-COVID high. March 2020 low, when we thought literally everything was crashing and coming to an end, this level never got retested. May in the future, never know. I'm not saying we're going back to 82. I'm just saying we would like to see, at least I would. I don't know about you and how you trade, but I would like to see this kind of 196, 200 level get tested. That's a great opportunity to trade long term. So when I look at this all together at the monthly, bears are currently showing that we're here. We're at least pushing this back. We don't agree with the price being in the 257, 260 range. So we're pushing this back, and 200 may be the next level that it needs to test, but it could skip it. One other thing you can do, and I can do this on the daily chart, is track the last pullback. Major for me. I'm going to go with this one to start, and you can see we just hit a 50% retracement. So 50% of the way from this low to this high, we just reached that. And I'll clean these up a little bit. So this entire move is 50% of the way back. Push high, pull back to the 50% retracement. And we can either hold there or head back to this 61.8. And so for me, I will go ahead and box this little area in between my support and resistance and my Fibonacci level, which I think is super important in this instance to understand that it's not an exact price. It's a range, it's a zone, whatever you might want to call it, right? And by the way, if you're curious how I analyze these levels, every Monday with my community, stick around. I'll share with you how you can join us. All right. So we've covered the monthly. We looked at the weekly. There wasn't a lot there. And then we added some support levels on the daily chart. We added the fib, and we have a zone now that we're interested in at 196. All right. So we've got this perspective. We've taken the mental rep, and we understand where it could be going as it relates to down and what trade we could possibly set up and take at 196, call it 200. So we could potentially be entering a trade here to take the next leg up in this 1, 2, 3 move. Now, if we go a little bit lower and we're saying, okay, I want to look at a trade down before we even get to this point. We talked about it being a 1, 2, 3 move here most recently. There's an opportunity for you to take this trade down into that support at 200. There's your 1, 2, 3 move to the downside. And I'm on a 4-hour chart. You could wait for a pullback and look to take this down. What area could you possibly take it down? Possibly at a 50% of retracement or more. So you're looking at roughly, and adjust this position tool, right around 230. Call it 229, 230. You could start to look for a potential trade, or you could do it at 38 too, depending upon where you like to trade at, which is roughly around 225. So if I take this fib off really quick so we can see that really clear, that could be your opportunity to trade this down into this support and then look for the trade up at that point. Now you'll need some confirmations, whether that's candlesticks, RSI, indicators, some other different confluences that can help you with confirming that trade. But overall, those are pretty solid kind of mental reps that you can take to decide, hey, I want to enter this trade. This is where I want to enter it. Now I just need some additional confluences to make sure that I'm tracking and this is what I want to do. And if it's what you want to do, enter the trade, pull the trigger. You've taken the mental reps, you've prepared, but do your own homework, do your own due diligence. And if you've got some levels that you want to share them in the comments. Let me know what levels you have marked, what levels you're excited about in the comments that might be working for you on Apple. And if you trade options, for sure, let me know what strikes you're looking at. Let me know what expirations you're looking at, and we'll see if we're aligned. And you might help others out with some levels that they might be interested in trading as well. And I promised I would let you know how to join our community. I do a weekly, every Monday, get ready with me session where we break down the entire market. We look at the overall market, stocks on our watch list, and more every week on Mondays, in addition to a host of other things. But if you're interested, click the link in the description and come join us. See you soon.